The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.
How are things going over at Datametrex.com and in the blockchain space and the artificial intelligence space and, of course, machine learning? You guys are at the forefront of everything that, to me, compels the crap out of me, and I always love learning from you.
Yeah, no, it's thanks. It's been busy. We've had a busy week. Got a couple press releases out with companies. Graph Blockchain signed another contract, so that's pretty exciting. And then we announced hiring Peter Kim, who's coming on as president and COO.
Oh, Jeff, your phone's cutting out a little bit there. Palau, is it still up?
There we go.
Oh, Jeff, we lost you for a little moment there.
Oh, sorry. I was just talking about sort of recent developments with Datametrex and some of our subsidiaries.
Oh, that's great to hear, man. And the blockchain space and the technology behind it, and obviously the crypto mining that you guys are involved in. I ask you week after week after week, and the reason why I ask you in this sort of very candid way is because I always see so much shit talking, and I apologize for being this candid as well, in the mainstream media, and it's everything I try and go against the grain about. This stuff is not going away, is it?
No, I don't believe so. We've talked about this a couple times, and I think the train has left the station on that side. It's just how everything gets regulated and how how the amalgamation of new tech with old tech and bringing things forward happens. It's our opinion, obviously, from where we come from. We think as public companies working in all those environments legitimizes and gives comfort to governments that they're entities that are legitimate and they're paying taxes and they're audited. So I think as you see this whole technology move forward, whether it be blockchain, AI, or crypto, they're all disruptive and they're all changing the status quo. Eventually, as that happens, regulation comes in and rules are put in place, and then there's rules for everyone to play fair in the sandbox. And when that happens, it positions companies like ours, I think, to really take advantage of it.
What has excited you in the space, say in the last few weeks since we've last talked?
Well, it's changing every day. There's change, whether you're talking about the crypto mining side on adoption of whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, sort of the major guys being adopted in different countries all across the world, where some are saying, yes, we recognize this and we're going to use it as a currency, where others are saying, oh, we don't think there's any validity to it. So, it's a very fluid situation. On blockchain itself, listen, we think that is tremendous. It's really going to increase efficiencies and give companies and government agencies the ability to transact directly with clients and stakeholders. And there's a lot of really, really neat things happening on that side. So, it depends on what vertical you're talking about. And AI, it's incredible. It's just beginning. And I think as we see the workforce change and adapt to, having artificial intelligence taking over some of those tasks that are repetitive and providing, taking that and creating efficiencies and freeing up workforce to get involved in more tasks that are more labor and skilled oriented. So I think it's really interesting. I think the future is really great for the whole sector.
I got comedian James Mullinger here. He's originally from London, now living out east in Newfoundland?
New Brunswick.
New Brunswick, my problem. New Brunswick. And I never actually thought to ask this question. Do you obviously must have a lot of family back home and stuff. What are sort of their views in terms of everything that's going on with technology and blockchain and cryptos and things like that? Is it a conversation much like it was over our Christmas and Hanukkah dinners and things like that?
Not really. I mean, to be honest, in England, the EU thing consumes all conversations, and also we're not smart enough to understand any of what you just asked me. So
it's so funny because I always, but to be honest,
but what, there probably is very smart. My family's not the one to. I mean, we are all fighting over who's going to have the last piece of white bread. So we're definitely not having conversations about that. I mean, my parents are classic, British people in that they're terrified by the right wing media. They're more terrified terrified of immigrants than they are of robots. To be honest, that's how they're still. Racism is still very popular in England. It's all the rage.
And Jeff, it's funny because not that racism's ever funny, but what's funny to me is that there's so much, and this is the way my mind kind of works within this space, is that there's so few of a percentage of people that still sort of have grasped it, understand it, starting to learn about it, starting to maybe dabble in whether it's investing in it.
Yeah.
That's why I think that we're still at the, and I'm not telling anyone to go and mortgage their homes and go and do stupid things like that. But to me, it's like there's so much more that is still to not only be learned, but for the average person and the average consumer and the average small business to get involved with, that's going to help change their lives one day.
It's a very odd thing that clearly so few of us know hardly anything about it, and there's almost no precedent for a thing in history that is clearly happening now and is going to be such a huge part of our lives in a few years or in 10 years, and none of us know anything. It's like that moment in the Steve Jobs movie when Bill Gates says the internet's going to be very big, and people are like, what is that thing? And it's that idea of this thing that's going to be huge for all of us, and none of us know anything, and I certainly don't.
Well, when you say idea, it sounds like you do. Jeff, is that sort of where your head's at as a company and the president of CEO of Datametrex?
Yeah, I think to some point you nailed it there. When you do the analogy back to the internet and how, there were some pioneers in that who recognized this is a game changer and the whole world is going to be different after this. I think we're at that stage now with blockchain and cryptocurrency as a way of feeding that. And I really think that it is a game changer. It is going to drastically change the way the workforce exists and the way that companies do business. But like everything, I think you create new opportunities, which are fantastic. And, we've talked before, Todd, about the benefits of cryptocurrency, banking the unbanked, and opening up a new world for people who historically haven't had access to that. And I think, when you look at the benefits of this technology, and again, whether it's AI to crypto mining and blockchain in the middle, there's so many benefits that come from this as it gets adopted universally and more companies are using them.
On top of it, the millions and millions of people who have no access to any banking system whatsoever, but yet they still have cell phones. And if they have a cell phone, then they have sort of some access to a cryptocurrency. It's actually, I think, and when I say we, North Americans and our culture and our lifestyle, we're very naive to kind of how unfortunate so many people have it. But now there's an opportunity for them to trade money or to actually have their own control of their finances and little things like that. James, jump in.
Yeah, well, I was just going to give you a very weird and small, I know it's not completely on point, but, I would, being a comedian, you're being paid, mostly in checks, old school, or, it's very rarely transfers and all the rest of it. I'm basically be in my local bank branch almost every day or every other day, paying in checks. And I remember being in the lineup at the bank about 2 years ago. And whenever you're in the lineup, they're always coming down the line trying to, sell shit to you. And we're like, no. This lady came over, and my wife and I were like, well, yeah, what is it? And she said, well, look, did you know we've got this app now where you can actually pay your checks in at home? And we're like, well, what? She's like, look, you just take a picture here, and then you put the check in. And I live in a small town in New Brunswick. Like, I knew everyone in that bank. I'd go in all the time.
It blows your mind at that point.
Yeah, and I'm there going, what? So I did. And then my wife just did the funniest thing. She turned to this woman, and she was like, wow, that's amazing. She goes, I don't think I'll ever see you again. And sure enough, we have not been back in there. And I went back to, and again, it's one of those weird things that this exists in a tiny town in New Brunswick, in the Canadian banking system. I went back to England, was telling a friend of mine who is extremely senior at American Express in London, and told him about this thing, which he'd never heard of, paying in checks on using an app. And he was like, no, we couldn't do that here because of the fraud. And I'm like, we have criminals in Canada. Like, I know it's a friendly fucking place, but it's not that no one's ever thought of writing $10 million and then taking a picture of it. Of course they have, but clearly there's a built-in, and I know it's not completely on point, but it's just that idea of finances and technology, and how one thing that one day just feels completely ridiculous and the next day becomes the norm. And now that's...
and beyond the banks, right, Jeff?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
that was very
concise.
No, but it's true. Like, it's, the change happens quickly, and as you say, it happens in a small town, and then you've got a big country who's former leader of the world, effectively, who hasn't hasn't adopted it and grasped it yet. But it'll happen. Like it's that wave is the ripple as a wave becomes a tsunami, right? Like technology is going to change it.
No doubt. Well, Jeff, man, I always love when we catch up. I didn't understand most of what my co-host said today because I just he's British. No. I have trouble following an accent. That's how naive I am. How about you?
How about me?
No, you understood it, right?
Oh, all of it, for sure.
Thank you.
And that's why you're in the position that you're in, and that's why I'm in the position that I'm in. Honestly, man,
and put myself in a bar position, and I could understand everything clearly.
No doubt. Come on over, dude. We're doing the show from my home. If you want to drop by, we have some oomph lager on tap today. Thank you again, man. I love working with you guys. I love learning from all of you over at Datametrex.com and everything that you're doing with Graph blockchain and Ronin and of course Nexology.com. So thank you, sir. And we'll catch up soon.
Pleasure to meet your co-host, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon, guys.
Thank you. It's lovely to meet you too. And if you want to come and see me at Yuck Yucks tonight, drop me an email. Yeah, drop me an email. We can teach each other a few things.
Drive from downtown.
Hey, that's okay. It's tomorrow. You've got all day to drive. It's
and you can pay him in crypto, Jeff. You can pay him in crypto.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Have fun.
Cheers. Datametrex.com.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.